Hi, happy Friday, everyone. I am Jen Singer, and this is the Facebook Live for the event industry, a online community platform for event planners. And that means if you are a new event planner or you're an aspiring event planner, I share tips and tools that could help you improve your event and make it successful and amazing for you and your guests. Every week on Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I go live and talk about an event planning subject. This week, we're talking about creating the beverage menu. I have been producing events for over 16 years now, and I've had my own company now, Jen Singer Events, for the last 3 years. And I created the event industry the beginning of this year because when I was starting out on my own with my own business, there was a lot of tools and templates and stuff that I was looking for that I just really couldn't find online that were versatile to all the different clients that I was serving. I do a lot of corporate events and I work with nonprofit organizations, and I found a lot of resources for like wedding planners, but not for the clients that I was working with. So I created a lot of tools, and I thought, well, if I need them, excuse me, maybe there's other people out there that need them. And so every week I go live and talk about a subject and then answer any questions that you might have. Stay tuned till the end today. I will be sharing a beverage menu tip that will save you money or save your clients money. So you definitely want to stay tuned, and I'll share that with you. So yeah, today we're talking about the best solution for creating your beverage menu. Now, the best solution is actually the simplest solution, which is great. And what I mean by that is you want to create a limited beverage menu. So limit the options for your guest because it has so many benefits to it. And the one obvious is that you can control the cost. So if you have this open bar and anybody can choose from any of the options, that could get really expensive. People could choose options that maybe you weren't really budgeting for. The other element that is very obvious is that it could create a long time for people to order because they have so many options, they don't know what to choose from. This also could create a long time for the service staff. If you have, some options with some drinks, or maybe there's some frozen drinks that could take a lot longer, or just maybe a lot of complicated cocktails, you definitely want to control the time in which the staff has to prepare. So, control the cost, control the confusion, and control the time of the service. And all of that could be super helpful when you're, kind of in your event too. With this simplification, this is a theme that I've been seeing with a lot of other kind of outside event planning world that I'm like listening to some podcasts, some Netflix show. I follow Amy Porterfield on her podcast, Online Marketing Made Easy. And she was talking this week about less is actually more. And that our brains are apt to get very confused when there are a ton of options, whether that's a ton of options for, thing that you're seeing online, if you're, making a big purchase, or if you are, if you're going up to a bar and ordering a drink. It's really helpful if you are making it very simple for the selections for your guests. And then there is the Netflix shows Tidying Up, and how people just get really anxious, and it creates stress when you are presented with all these options, and it almost like clutters the brain. So you're really helping the whole guest experience if you craft the menu so make it very streamlined, and they can see all the options and they can make a really fast decision. Like I said, you can minimize the beverage cost, so you control the bottom line, and then you can also create a beverage experience that really shines on maybe the food or the theme. So one element that kind of associates with this is if you were offering a specialty cocktail. So say you offer your guests a beer and wine option, but you also offer a specialty cocktail. So you could have a his and hers cocktail, which is super traditional for weddings, I work with some clients that offer a sponsorship naming the cocktail and selecting the cocktail. So the sponsorship name is like actually part of the cocktail name. So it's the, ABC company mojito or what have you. And that can present like a really great recognition for the sponsor. You still get to offer your guests a cocktail if they want a cocktail. And, it's kind of twofold. And you can also like select the cocktail specific. So it's maybe not, the most high-end spirit. You can control the cost there. You can also offer a mocktail as like a specialty item. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago when I was talking about food and beverage trends. And a mocktail is basically, the elements of a delicious cocktail without any alcohol. So that could be something that you offer on your beverage menu too. When crafting the specific cocktails, the one thing I always try to keep in mind is offering two. And offering one that might be a little frou-frou, like sweet or fruity, and offering one that maybe is not so sweet. Maybe it's more robust or, a little bit stronger, or can kind of appeal to two different audiences, and not even just men and women, like, just kind of those preferences and flavors. Like I said, this will also help in expediting the service. So your service staff will do things faster, and people can come up and make a selection right away. So if you visit theeventindustry.com, I posted a blog post about this earlier this week and shared a sample menu that I created in Canva. If you're not familiar with Canva, you should go on canva.com. It's amazing. You can do a lot of graphic design stuff for free. They have paid accounts too, but there's a ton that you can do for free as well. I just selected like an 8x10 dimensions for a graphic and put together this menu. The sample menu includes two specialty cocktails, 3 different wines, a red wine, a white wine, a sparkling, 2 different beers, like a lighter beer, and then a more like IPA, like hoppier beer. Excuse me. And that's it. And I will print those out and I will put those in 8x10 frames, like normal frames, the frames that you put pictures in. So you can get really affordable ones at IKEA or Target or Home Goods, like any kind of frame. And sometimes I have it go with the theme. We did that old Hollywood theme that was like a month ago. And we did these really nice, like metal, like decorative, like very decorative, ornate frames. And that looked really great. Okay, so the beverage tip. The beverage tip I have for you guys is, if you're trying to save money, try to see if you can bring in your own wine. Most of the time that involves like a corkage fee, but the way that you can actually save money with this is sometimes the corkage fee is less than you buying your own wine. So maybe you do have to pay a fee on every single bottle of wine that you bring in. But one way I've been able to save money for clients, and this is obviously relative to California events, every state is different. A lot of different venues are different in terms of alcohol service. So there can be a lot of variances on this. So you have to definitely check with your state and any of the regulations. But here in California, you can, a lot of venues, you can bring in your own wine, and the venue will just charge you a corkage fee for bringing it in. And we've gone to Bevmo and taken advantage of their forever 5-cent sale, and it's worked out where it's a lot cheaper when we have to buy a good amount of wine to bring that in. And then Bevmo will even deliver your wine for you. I know they do that here in San Diego. So you definitely want to look into that. Made it very easy and extremely cost effective for my client to do wine service that way. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer. That is basically the summation of like why you want to create a limited menu. Control the cost. So keep within your budget by selecting elements that fit within that budget. Also, one thing I mentioned in the blog that I haven't mentioned yet is that you want to create a limited menu so you don't buy all of these things. Like if you want to have all these options, then you end up having to guess what your attendees want to drink that night or that day. And that is a very tough guessing game, which makes you have to buy more product. So if you don't want to guess and you don't want to over purchase items, just offer a limited amount, and then you don't run out of something. Or say you guess that it's going to be more of a wine crowd, but then you also offer margaritas, and all of a sudden you're running out of tequila because people are drinking margaritas, and someone just starts to do tequila shots, and it all goes to fun, but you're running off to grab tequila. So you want to make sure that you have enough product for the beverage options that you're offering for your guests. And the way to do that without like buying a whole bunch of extra product is creating that limited menu. So I hope this was all very helpful for your next event. Tune in next week. We will be talking about marketing your event and elements to help promote your event to attendees. All right. Thanks, and have a great weekend.